Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is actually going to be top 8 of the LCS, and I wanted to cast this one in particular because we have a very interesting deck, as you can see, in the top 8. And it's not just Altergeist, as you can see, piloted by, I believe his name is Lars Junginger, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But it's actually Dogmatika Altergeist, as you can see with the Nadir Servant as well. So it should be pretty interesting. His opponent is Paulo Goncalves, who is on Zoodiac Eldlich. So it should be a very, very interesting matchup here. Gonna send Wind Pegasus to grab Ecclesia. And Ecclesia can get a search as well. You saw him start out with the Meliseek, which I can only assume grabbed Faker. And we're setting Punishment and another back row and passing here. So very, very surprising to see Geist come back a little bit into the metagame here, but it's not really too surprising when you think about it, of course, because as I've been saying all throughout the entire weekend, this has become quite a control-oriented format, and with trap cards kind of coming back, that's something that Geist is very, very good at doing, and they have a resource loop that is almost unrivaled. They have very, very strong inevitability, and they also have the ability to be very aggressive, which is something that some control decks lack. Looks like Paulo is going to start off with a Golden Lure that's going to send away a Hcabe to target a back row. That's going to hit Strike. Very, very solid hit. So that's going to put a stop to any potential answers to Zoo plays. So now those are going to be able to go through pretty well. And he can now reasonably assume as well that the set back row is also going to be a punishment. Now, Wind Pegasus is a very strong send as well because it acts as another interruption. Obviously, with Geist, you don't want your cards to be removed. So this is a bit of a deterrent or just kind of a workaround that your opponent has to just like straight up push past or play around. Gonna be seeing the punishment here. That is gonna go ahead and just destroy the Ram straight up on summon. We'll see if this sends a Titaniclad, which could go for another potential Dogmatika play next turn. It is, alright. He's going to trigger Faker here, so notably he won't be able to summon off this Titaniclad, since he's gonna, I assume, trigger Faker's effect to summon from deck. But he will still be able to add the Ecclesia to hand, and then use it next turn, so that's not too big of a deal. And he won't be able to go into Hextia because of punishment, so that could also come up due to the fact that like, Hexia is really good in this matchup because it negates spell, trap cards, or effects. So it can also negate the graveyard effects of the Golden Lands and the Elixirs as well, if needed. So he's going to summon Meliseek instead of the Silk, which I do quite like if you are in a position where you feel like you don't have to bounce anything. And realistically, all that you're trying to bounce in this matchup is probably going to be Zoo cards anyways. Like, hitting a random backer in the end phase isn't going to be that incredible. Like, it could be okay as a deterrent if you're trying to hold off the Eldlich engine. But Meliseek can also take care of a lot of the problem cards too. So now Paulo has to kind of think about what position he is in this game and work accordingly. Still has 3 cards, and Barrage is a pretty strong follow-up, so not getting the Silk here actually could prove to be detrimental, just because he did draw the 1 Zoo extender that this deck does play. Because the deck doesn't really tend to play Reborn, at least from what I've seen in most builds. So yeah, Barrage going to summon another Zoo name. Silk bouncing it would have been pretty decent there, but now there is going to be a potential Zeus hitting the board, and that is very devastating against Geist. That's going to present a lot of value. Fairblade also going to be using its effect to pitch and draw 1. So a high abundance of Zoos in this hand, but maybe drawing into more Eldritch cards could be useful. Let's see what the pitch is going to be. This effect isn't live that often. Oh, but he's on Bunny Blast. Very fascinating. I was just going to say the standard lineup is 3 Ram, 1 Blade, and 1 Whip. But we know the last time Paulo topped the LCS with this event, he actually played a different ratio. He played multiple Blades. And he's choosing to play Bunny Blast this time around as well. Very interesting card. This card can get back Barrage, which is something to note. So he might be playing a bit more with the Zoo cards. I actually believe that Paulo is the only person to top the event with Zoo, even though it was like the most highly represented deck by a relatively wide margin. Let's actually go ahead and check real fast. I have the Top Cut breakdown available to me. So yeah, only one Zoodiac build, and this is it. So crazy. And obviously this is the only well, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but intuitively this is the only Geist build in the Top Cut. So we're gonna see him overlay Borbo atop of the Third Blade, go to battle phase and attack. Obviously Hcabe can mitigate the damage, but not gonna prevent the Zeus from coming down. And the best thing is that he doesn't have to play around Nibiru at all because the multi-faker already triggered. So I don't imagine he's playing Nibiru either. Just given the way the metagame's shaped up, and as well as just the inherent conflict it has with Faker. When you're going first, especially. So he is still going to attack directly. That's going to hit him for 0, but obviously that's just to make Zeus live. So now I can just stack a whole bunch of materials on top of this Borbo here. And stack a fat Trident, Zeus rather. He could even go like Trident Hammer Kong if he wants to make a really big Zeus, but not really any need to waste materials there. Can just go ahead and do the format, wipe the board, and just answer the threats on the next turn. Because what's likely going to happen is he wipes the board, Meliseek tries to search for goes to search for a Marionetter, and then you're able to like answer the Marionetter after it sets whatever from deck. Oh, but never mind, the Ash putting a stop to the Meliseek here. So I do wonder if that was drawn off the Third Blade or if he had it in hand the entire time. Or rather, not the entire time, but drawn for turn, because obviously he would have Ashed on a Deer Servant if he had it. So it's either drawn for turn or off the Third Blade. But the last card in hand is a Deer Servant of his own. All right, he's still playing the Dogmatika engine in here. Okay, so this is extremely interesting now. He drew access to every single one of his engines, and like that effectively just took care of the entire board. Very, very well played from Paulo here. Strong opening from both players, but this was a very solid answer. So getting Ecclesia after sending Omega, and then going to go for punishment, and he can Omega back this Titaniclad so it can't get its effect off in the end phase. So very strong. I like that a lot. I think it's very strong. I think it's very good as a deterrent. And here we go. So just like that, answered. Immediately answered. Very good. And now he's set. He's able to use Walk Hero. And he can sit on punishment and Zeus. That was such a strong recovery from Paulo. Very, very nicely done. And Geist is going to have a hard time recovering from this. Setting the Scarlet in the end phase. Yeah, there was not really any opportunity for this to trigger either. I was just like kind of really reading quickly over it yet again. Now, let's see if Geist can actually come back from this. He has no extra deck access, but he has the Marionetter already. Okay, not too bad. Not bad at all. So he's going to go ahead and set a trap. And he's probably going to have to try and recover either the Faker or the Meliseek. Now, Paulo has to be a little bit leery of this Wind Pegasus. He's thinking here, because if he punishments, he's going to play into the Wind Pegasus. But if he Zeuses, he also loses out on his own punishment. So you kind of have to pick one or the other. If you Zeus here and they have more back row, that could actually backfire. So Geist not necessarily out of this game, and he's going to let this happen. So he's going to allow for Marionetter to tag out. He's asking what the target is, because that definitely matters. If it's going to be Faker or Meliseek, obviously targeting itself on the field. Has two targets. It's going to target itself and Meliseek. Let's see if there's any response here. He is going to choose to use punishment. Alright. So opting to forego one of his resources due to the Wind Pegasus. That's going to send Entis. So Entis is going to pop the Manifestation. And then Wind Pegasus is going to go ahead and shovel back probably the Zeus, I would imagine. Yep. And this does target. And it banishes itself for cost as well, I believe. Yes, it does. So banish for cost and target. Targeting is not cost, but, I mean, is there even really a good term for it? Because it's not a cost. But, I don't know. It's kind of a weird distinction. The reason it's not a cost, by the way, this is like a really like wild side tangent, but there's like examples, for example, with like Diamond Dude, where if you reveal a spell that targets, like, obviously Diamond Dude doesn't copy costs, it only copies the effects. We know this, so, but you still have to designate targets if that's applicable. But, anyways, the Zeus got shuffled back via Wind Pegasus, and then gonna be passing, but the end phase Scarlet is going to be met with the Ash, and suddenly, both players have minimal resources. But this definitely favors Eldlich here, because he still has stuff in rotation. So not looking too bad. He does also have a Golden Lord in the graveyard if he wants to put on the pressure. So going to be banishing the Scarlet in the main phase. To set a Golden Land from deck, he's going to choose Conquistador. He's going to send it away to summon out Golden Lord from the graveyard. And going to switch Ecclesia to attack position. That is going to be a considerable amount of damage, but notably not game. Going to go ahead and use Conquistador in the end phase. That's going to set another copy of Scarlet. So he's on one more Scarlet, two more Conquistador, and probably just one more Hcabe. You could make a meta call to play more Hcabe though in this format, just because like Drytron's running around. Pretty decent against Virtual World too. Could make a case for it, although again the engine still can be a bit cloggy, especially if you're playing Dogma stuff still. So what is Geist's answer going to be? This is somewhat of the problem with Geist, is that it can struggle in these kinds of game states. He's going to normal the Silk and go into Almirage, it looks like. Oh no, he's not. He's playing the Artemis. Alright. So this card isn't really going to do a whole ton, except allow for Silk to add back the Manifestation, which is pretty good. This only works with other Magistuses. I don't think that he's playing any other Magistuses, but you never know. Yeah, always good to read, even though, even if like you think it's gonna functionally do nothing, always good to make sure and just check. So yeah, getting back the Manifestation, that's not bad. We'll see what his other card in his hand is besides that. He's thinking here. Wonder what the play could possibly be. He already committed his normal summon. Like, unless if you're fully popping up with like Fakers and normal summoning a Marionette, there's not many too many lines to play. Oh, he's waiting, thinking that he was still reading. Oh, but never mind. There are a lot of plays if you have Nadir Servant. So that's gonna go ahead and grab another copy of Ecclesia. Oh, so he is playing multiple in the main deck. I do wonder if he cut Extravagance, or if he still is playing it. So sending Entis as well. Let's see what the Entis is going to target. It's going to pop the Ecclesia here. And then he's going to summon his own Ecclesia. So, yeah, he was able to recover pretty nicely. So I guess he had the Silk in hand the previous turn when he normaled Marionette. And he went for, or he got Nadir Servant off the top. So you got Punishment here as well. Gonna set that and the Manifestation. During the end phase, we're gonna see Scarlet. That's gonna summon another Golden Lord. And this is okay. Oh no, it's not. It's gonna summon Ash. Is he playing Fiber? Or is he playing? He probably is playing Omega, so he could make it with like Ash and a Golden Land. Because he's probably playing Omega due to the Dogma cards. So now he's gonna be thinking. Let's see what the play is going to be. This did get quite grindy, and actually Geist is back in the game. Pretty good resource management, and Idiot Servant is just a crazy card. Allows you to both answer boards while building your own. And that's something that Geist can struggle with, is that it excels at, you know, building up a defensive wall if it has the capacity to, but through disruption it's quite hard. But Servant can definitely help alleviate that. Going to be going for a Link 2 play, it looks like, from Paulo's side. Going to go for Phoenix, and it's going to be co-linked. That is pretty sick. So that's going to go ahead and pitch into Biru, which is largely going to be dead. That's going to hit one of the random back row. Let's see what it is. I mean, we know what they are, but we don't know where they're positioned. So we'll see if it's manifestation or it's punishment. It turns out to be a punishment. That's going to target the Phoenix in response. And we know Titaniclad was shuffled back via the Omega. Oh yeah, we saw that he had Omega. He literally shuffled back Titaniclad with it. So yeah, for sure he plays Omega, which is why he can like do things like summon Ash in a Golden Land if it ever comes up. Oh, gonna be sending Entis. I wonder if he's gonna pop his own Artemis, perhaps? To play around like his opponents. No, that wouldn't make sense. I kind of wonder why he sent this over Titaniclad. But he is going to normal Whiptail next. He's going to be thinking here. This would be a reasonable time to use Manifest to go ahead and go for Faker Silk. He could also wait for an Xyz summon, just so that his opponent won't have like a follow-up Zoo, so you don't have to keep bouncing it every turn. But if he goes Trident, that could also be kind of bad. Well, it wouldn't be horrible, but it would give him a little bit more value if he went like straight into Trident. Oh my goodness, the Ghost Bell to stop the Manifest. That's gotta be game. Wow, that is a game-winning Ghost Bell. This card, good meta call for Drytron, and reasonable against Virtual World. It's not like amazing against that matchup, but it has applications against like Lao Lao and stuff, and Yan. But here, coming in clutch, so that can definitely stop not only Manifestation but also Marionetter to kind of loop. And now suddenly Paulo is off to the races, able to go for Third Blade. And yeah, he's able to just wipe out the board. He can Trident pop Ecclesia, attack into the Artemis. If he plays another Zeus, he can go for that. No, the Zeus was shoveled back via Wind Pegasus, so he has one for sure. Gonna second Conquistador and then go for Lord. Oh, can he end the game here? I think he can. Pop Ecclesia. 35 minus 8 is 27. And 28. Oh my god, that is the end of the game. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy game one here. Wow, so much interaction. A lot of back and forth. Control meta is back. And that's really, really good news for me because it's been a while since I've, tried to develop my fundamentals in the game. So this will be a good format to kind of do that. So yeah, like I've been playing combo decks for a long, long time. And this will be a very good chance for me to kind of reintegrate my sort of control mindset, if you will. Just knowing how to take favorable trades, making reads, all those fun skills that you have to obviously develop at some point or another. But we're going to be siding for game 2. Very, very fascinating. Ice Dragon's Prison can definitely come up clutch for either player. So we'll see if that makes it into the main deck post side, or if they're already maining it. Back row removal could be very useful. So we shall see what the move ends up being. If you guys do want to know the top 16 breakdown, by the way, it is 6 Virtual World, 5 Eldlich variants, 2 Drytron, 1 Dogmatika Altergeist, which you're seeing, 1 Dogmatika Eldlich Zoodiac, which you're seeing, and 1 Dogmatika Invoked, which actually finished undefeated in Swiss. So we're going to be moving into game number 2. Geist is going to go first again. And that was just Well played, honestly. Like a really, really solid match. Gonna lead with Extravagance, so he is still playing it. I do definitely think you have to play it in Geist. Like, you need all the advantage you can get, which is why you're playing the Dogma cards too. Just more resources that the deck otherwise wouldn't have access to. So this deck has a reasonable amount of starters, but you do have to draw a select combination of cards. For example, Melisleek plus Traps or Faker plus Traps. And then this deck also can struggle sometimes with drawing too many normal summons. Oh, but he's gonna just set 4 and pass. Wow. This could be a game where we see like a Harpy's Feather Duster come down and just wipe out everything. So let's see. Not opening any engine cards here that we at least can see from Geist. Meanwhile, Paulo opens a Cursed Eldland. He is thinking on the activation. Very curious. I wonder if he set it in Cosmics. We've seen that card a little bit this weekend. Not really a whole lot of information here to kind of infer. You just have to think about what your other cards are able to do. Alright, so he opened Spoofing. Is he going to be using the Spoofing effect? Or did he already draw the Faker? He is just activating it. So maybe he wants to bounce the Cursed Eldland when it goes to try and search. So Faker coming down, that's going to use its effect. He's thinking before declaring multi-Faker. I wonder if that means that he was considering not using Faker because he has something else to use, like a Nibiru. I kind of doubt that. You definitely don't keep a Nibiru in this matchup anyways. Maybe he's just thinking about like how he wants to structure this. He could Silk Bounce, but then he needs an answer to the Zoo stuff if he does it. So he is going to Silk Bounce. That means one of these back rows needs to be like a Strike or just some way to deal with the normal summon Zoo. If there is one, of course. But I mean, you have to assume that they have a Zoo. They have at least 9 names or ways to get there. And there is a Whiptail. So we'll see if he responds now, if he's going to wait for an extra deck summon. I don't think he cares as much about Trident being made right away this time because of the fact that he already got value off both of the cards on the field. Or rather, he hasn't gotten like the Spoofing Search yet, but he definitely can in response. So now he's overlaying Tiger Mortar, definitely going to think at this stage. You could also let your opponent commit more Zoos. Excuse the heater. Gonna strike the summon of Tiger Mortar. Okay. So that is going to cut off the Zoo engine, provided that Paulo didn't open Barrage again. There's a chance he did. Okay. Barrage both games. That is... yeah, that's pretty good, huh? The one extender for Zoos. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. At least one extender in like these Zoo hybrids that, you know, don't really care as much about their Zoo engine being, you know, like taken care of by one out. But the Barrage is going to put in a lot of work here once again. That is crazy. So here we are. Gonna grab another Zoo. I wonder what name he's gonna go for. He's thinking, huh? So maybe he's contemplating Ram to play around potential traps. Yeah, I think you gotta do that. Even if like you have more Zoos in hand, like going Third Blade, unless if you rip like, I don't know, Nadir Servant, doesn't seem like as worth it. Because if you can stick like a Zeus, then that's quite strong at this point. Because Zeus will get rid of 3 cards here. Because obviously we're just spoofing back the silk, but... Now I wonder if Paulo is going to go battle phase and attack into the silk to bluff Whiptail. That would be kind of interesting. It wouldn't really accomplish a whole ton, but it would be cool to see just the mind games. But going into Borbo here, so we know his hand is Curse Eldlin plus 3 unknowns. Thinking at the start of the battle phase. Okay, so maybe he has another answer. He could spoofing away the Faker to get Konkiri. Is going to do that. He's thinking in response. Oh, if there's a Cosmic, that could be devastating. Oh my goodness! This man drew crazy. Wow, that's absurd. So Cosmic on the spoofing, preventing Konkiri just to make sure Zeus goes through. And geez, this is wild. Gonna attack directly for 4. And unless if one of these back rows can directly answer Zeus, this could be a swift game over. Wow, this is not a very good matchup, it looks like. But then again, he opened Barrage both times, so what can you do, right? Gonna overlay for Shakanine. Can then overlay for another Zoo and then go for Zeus. Again, you don't have to fear Nibiru because... Oh, another strike though. Oh, okay. Not too bad. This is where you reveal Monster Reborn. And then go Zeus after that. How crazy would that have been? Alright, probably gonna set 2. So, we could infer the last card in hand could be Cursed Eldland. But that's gonna be a pass. Alright, so Geist not out of it yet, provided he has any play starters. Because right now he doesn't have any. His spoofing got banished. His Faker is back in his deck because it got shuffled for cost. So his cards in his hand have to get him there. They have to be like Nadir Servants. They have to be what is it? Melisix. Faker is actually a decent normal summon if you want to go to Hexia, which is not a bad play if you have Manifestation especially. But even still, this gets you access to more potential Geist cards later on. No Link Cross, because it is banned. So Link Cross can't search for... Or rather, Link Cross can't get rid of the Hexia to search. That's one of like the cool things about... That was like one of the only fair ways that Link Cross was used. is to turn a Geist... or Hexia rather, into a Geist search. I mean, that's relatively fair compared to the things it was doing in other decks, right? Curious as to what these back row could be. They could be just Eldritch stuff. I feel like if you see your opponent normal summon a multi-faker, you would probably punishment. Because it seems like a telegraphed play. Like, there's no reason to normal summon if you're not going for Hexia, right? So, I feel like at that point, if you just punishment that the Silk, that would be decent. I mean, that does lose to like another spoofing, but what can you do? So it was another manifestation set. I figured as much. We did deduce this. So that's going to target Silk. He's going to be thinking in response. I wonder if he's going to let this go through and then just try and like force these at a later time. But if Hexia like tributes away, or it doesn't tribute. Or no, it does. Wait. If Hexia like tributes away the Silk, oh no. Is this Conquistador Scarlet? Wow, Apollo opened crazy. Oh, but the Cosmic Cyclone on the Conquistador. I wonder if this was drawn for turn 2. Wow. This is so much back and forth. Oh my gosh. Both players drawing quite well and playing well as well. Now this is tricky, because you know the last card in hand is Cursed Eldland. So, do you opt to bounce the lore? Probably not. Definitely not. Because then they just search, and then they out your board. And then you lose. You can't beat over this, though. Oh, it's so awkward to play here. Like, Silk Lord... Like, Silk does not interact with Lord very well. That is a fact. So... Or it doesn't do it favorably, I should say. For Geist. Will he make another copy of Hextia to grab an add back a manifest and then a search off the Hextia? It could be worthwhile. It would be better if he had his normal summon still. It'd be like a lot better, because then he could actually beat over the Golden Lord, and that would be prime. But that is not looking like an option at the current moment. He is, it looks like, going for another copy of Hexia. It could be Prime Banshee. Gonna go for Phoenix. Huh. That is a curious choice. Maybe he had banished his other Hexias off of the Extravagance. In which case, this, I think, is a lot worse. He's gonna Hexia and then Silk to add back Manifestation and probably a Faker to hand. If he was able to go into a second Hexia, then he wouldn't have to search Faker necessarily. Like, he'd be able to maybe search for a Conquery. Or he could go like Hexia, Hexia, Faker, Silk. But with that not on the table, his options become very, very confined to this specific line. I don't know. This is not looking too good, actually, for Geist still. It's not over yet, but with Cursed Eldon in hand, that is looking mighty scary. Plus, he has the Scarlet Engrave as well. So he just has so many more resources. This is the thing, is like, Eldlich just plays the grind game. Like, it's a lot easier and harder to stop. Like, it's easier to get access to, and it's harder to stop. Because, like, once things are in graveyard, you know, that's kind of it, right? It's just how it goes. But when you're in this position with Geist, you have to really carefully maneuver your resources. And, like, your opponent has a lot more opportunities to, like, interact with what's on your board, rather than just simply what's in your graveyard, which is, you know, what Eldlich aims to do, like, all the time. So there's a Cursed Eldland. We knew this was there. He's thinking an activation of the card. He could try and, like, flip up the Manifest to bring back the Hextia and then go Faker, summon Silk, and then try and Silk bounce this. Which, again, isn't, like, that bad. But then, like, what's stopping your opponent from just going to battle phase, right? Not looking super great here for Geist. We shall see. Okay, so so apparently this is okay to resolve the Cursed Eldland. He paid 8 to search Conquistador. Gonna be holding it. The big question is, what is the last card in hand? The card that was just drawn for turn. This can grab a Walkero, which lines up very nicely with what we know is Manifestation, so he's gonna have to use it pretty soon here. Walkero has pretty good applications as well against Marionetter to shuffle and, like, cycle through cards. He's gonna go move to battle phase and then attack for 600. I think you just take this. Now he's set before moving to battle phase, which is curious. I wonder if he's trying to bait his opponent into, like, thinking there's no spell or trap for Lord. But I don't think anyone would really fall for that bluff. Yeah. If it even was a bluff. You just definitely take it here. Gonna move to main phase 2. And then use Scarlet to set. He might set another copy of Conquistador, that way Silk can't just bounce it in the end phase. And he'll get a guaranteed pop. It's possible. I would not be opposed to that. But he is indeed going to go for Walkera. I also am not opposed to this, because this puts a timer on the Manifest. Like, you have to use Manifest this turn, basically. If this is another Ghost Bell, I will... Oh, that would be insane. That would be another game-winning Ghost Bell. Alright, moving to end phase. He's going to Manifest. Targeting Silk. So he's going to Faker so he can get Meliseek. Yeah. At this point, if he has no Meliseek access, he kind of loses. So you have to definitely go for it. I wonder if there's an argument to summon Marionetter. Because Marionetter can bring back the Hextia. But you could also like go for... Okay, so he is doing that. Or he's just going to straight up bounce it. That's fair. He's also going to bounce Lord. That's good. Yeah. That's definitely the right play. Because now both of these are basically off. Oh, I think Geist wins this game now. Unless if like that last card in hand is really powerful. I think Geist can just take over this one. But it depends on how many Hextias are left, which I would assume 0 if he made Phoenix the last turn. So he's going to set Protocol via the Marionetter. And like I was mentioning, this can bring back the Hextia. So I can put a lot of pressure. And the thing is that Hexia is the only Geist monster that can actually beat over Golden Lands. Because Walkero is 18 attack and then Conk is 18 defense. So he's thinking on his targets for Marionetter. Do you opt for Faker Hexia? It's been such a long time since I played this deck. And I will admit, I'm not quite familiar with this matchup. So, I'm learning together, hopefully with you guys. Because this is very fascinating to watch. He's going to target the Manifest and the Hextia. Interesting. So he's going to get the Silk to add back. But losing out on a bounce. So this is obviously not game just yet. Because Paulo has blockers. This is a long, grindy match. Oh my gosh, it's already almost 40 minutes. Jeez. Gonna enter the battle phase here. Probably attack with Faker first, right? He's gonna attack with Marionetter first. I guess either way is okay. So let's see when Paulo decides to use these Golden Lands and when Hexia is going to be used, if at all. Gonna take the attack for 16. Just gonna attack with Faker next. That's gonna go through and connect for 12. Hexia will demand a response, because otherwise this is game. On attack declaration, he's going to activate Walkero. And there's no response to this. So he's going to summon it. And Hexia attack over. So we know your cards in hand are Golden Lord and whatever he drew for last turn, which he hasn't used. And Silk added back Manifest, and we know this set here is Protocol. So whatever Lars drew for turn plus Manifest, those are the sets. So he's in a pretty good spot. I would be satisfied with this positioning, but it's definitely not the end of the game, because Eldlich again has a very strong grind. He's gonna use Curse Eldlin to pay 8. That's gonna search, opting not to bounce it, or like, you know, preemptively go for Silk. He's got a Conquistador, so now Lord is live in hand for sure. Very interesting game state. Do you Lord send away to target the set Protocol? Yes, that is what he's doing, and I agree with this. I like this play. Because that'll ensure, almost, that your Lord will force another interaction on the board. Protocol will negate by sending away the Faker. This doesn't tribute. This sends. Hexia tributes. Now he's going to be thinking on resolution if he wants to use his Manifest or the other back row. Alright, so he is going to allow this to go ahead and continue. Lord is now live in the graveyard, and that will prompt another response, most likely. And we no longer know any of the cards in Paulo's hand. So we are unsure. Oh, he has a tanky. Okay. So that is another card that could force something. Will it force Hexia? Or will he let the tanky go through and then try and bounce the normal? But if he bounces the normal, then what's the response to Golden Lord? That's the question you have to ask if you're the Geist player. But then the question is, if I negate this with Hexia, then what am I going to do about Conquistador? So he might have to think in this window as well. Because he knows the set is Conquistador. And he has a Manifest. So like if Lord ever hits the board, then like you're putting yourself in a window. Wait. Oh, did I totally... Oh no, the set wasn't Conquistador, my bad. The card he added to hand was Conquistador, never mind. But this effectively is the same, I guess, in terms of like outing the board. Just a lot more flexible to activate. But it's going to be met with Solemn Judgment regardless. Huh, for some reason I thought that was Conquistador. I have no idea why. I was just completely losing track of the game. Yeah, so it's only my bad on that. I feel like I've been saying that the whole time. But, oh wow, Paulo just going to go ahead and admit defeat there. Because he knows that Golden Lord's just going to get bounced by the Silk. So that Judgment putting in work. And we're going to move into a game 3. And I believe we are 5 minutes away from time. So this ended up being quite a good match. I don't know why. Why did I think that set was Conquistador? I have no idea. I'm sorry. I'm usually better than this at keeping track of things in the game state. But I've been recording a lot today and yesterday, so try and cut me a little bit of slack. How many matches is this? I recorded 5 yesterday, and this is the 5th one today. So yeah, it's been like 10 rounds over 2 days, so It's been a lot of casting. But if you guys have been enjoying, definitely be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new here. If you made it this far, definitely consider subscribing if you enjoy this type of content. Been doing my best to bring LCS coverage, and I hope I've been doing a good job. And it looks like literally all 3 of the other matches finished. I'm looking at the LCS bracket right now in Challenge, and literally every single one of them finished except this one. And it looks like the top 4 is going to be Jesse Cotton, who we know is on Drytron, Daniel H, they only put the initials here, who is on Virtual World, I believe, and then Luke Coogan on Virtual World as well. Daniel H, his last name is Heffernan. The font is kind of small on the image there that I'm looking off of. Okay, but without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop into game 3. So, Tenki going to be activated as Paulo goes first. He's going to search for a Thoroughblade. Good start. Heater firing off again, as always. Gonna go ahead and activate Thoroughblade next. Normal summon it and activates effect. That's gonna send a Bunny Blast. Shoutouts to the Bunny Blast again. He's gonna draw. Yeah, with Ogre and Gamma not really being in the format, I don't think you have to respect those cards as much. He's gonna overlay for Tiger. And then Shakanine. And he's going to Shakanine back the Bunny Blast. So I think because people side out Nibiru in this matchup, you can't afford to go for this play where you go Dryden, pop your own Bunny Blast to add back a Zoo. I like this play a lot because, again, people are siding out Nibiru like in games 2 and 3. So you'll have a guaranteed Zoo in your hand. Now, he could also just pass, he could also just pass and not pop his own Bunny Blast, because I was going to say, he would have to detach the Thoroughblade, which gets rid of the body, and that's relevant against Geist. So you could just have this as like a floating body. It still is 5 summons, but again, like, you're against Geist, and they're not going to keep Nibiru against you. So Geist's going to start off with Extravagance. He has to play through 2 back row, and then 2 more cards in hand, plus the Trident. Could be tough. We haven't really seen much Zoo versus Geist either. Gonna normal summon the Meliseek. That's pretty good force. It's going to some extent do its job, but it's not really gonna out the Trident. It's just gonna force it. He is going to detach a Thoroughblade. That way, if Bunny Blast gets outed, he can add the Thoroughblade back to hand. Meistering the Meliseek. Big. That could be huge. That could be enormous. Meister also really, really nice against Drytron. But he opens the Nadir Servant. Very good follow-up. Oh, he's thinking, does he have the Ash? Yes, a Ghost Bell! That's crazy because Nadir Servant can add from graveyard to hand. So, Bell works in Nadir Servant too. Oh my goodness. Oh, but the Mystic Mine! Yo, this guy opened Meliseek, Nadir Servant, Mystic Mine. Now, he is against Eldlich, and Eldlich absolutely can out this. So, and Walkero is a good starting point. Oh man, what an interesting game 3. And I believe they're about to go into time any minute now. So we'll see if they keep track of that. Gonna link away for a Link Spider, most likely. This gets him 1 step closer to establishing Conquistador to out the mine. Gonna switch Trident to defense position. And then end phase, Huaquero can set the Scarlet. Wow, Meister Bell. And they are in time, so this is turn 0. Both players on full life still. But guys can use Meliseek to their advantage. If it comes down to it. Spoofing Meliseek with mine in time seems really, really good. Four cards in hand, 1 set. Another Nadir Servant. Wow. Okay. So, is there a response to this? I don't imagine there is any, unless if there's like specifically Imperial Order, which I feel would have been flipped up previously if that was set. We know this one is Scarlet. He's gonna send Entis, possibly to pop the remaining back row. Gonna search for Ecclesia. Wow, he drew double Nadir Servant. It negates the activation, so you can actually use it again. So maybe he top decked it. Oh, he had the Conquistador already. So, in response to the Entis, he's going to go ahead and chain Conquistador as showing 2, and then Scarlet as showing 3. Is there a response? Show me the Ash. Do it. Yes? No? Maybe so? Cosmic? There are a subset of cards that deny this play. Is there any response? Or are we going to have to play Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, this is a bit of a nail biter. Well, I was thinking I'm going to go ahead and take a drink real fast. Flipping Punishment to hit Trident. Setting another Entis. He had double Entis after resolving Extravagance. That's kind of crazy. So he's going to summon Lord, summon Conquistador, pop Mine, and then it gets destroyed off the Entis. I assume that was popped off the first Entis. He's thinking, but is this mid-chain or... Yeah, I was going to say, like, the chain already was resolving. So after that, he's thinking. So this other Entis can also activate. That can pop the Lord. He can special Ecclesia. Well, it really just depends on what other cards are in his hand. He has 3 more cards in hand. Like, that's really strong. Well, I'm amazed that he had double Entis after resolving Extravagance. That's really, really good. Have to be thinking he's on 3 Entis then. 3 Entis, 3 Hexia. We saw Phoenix. We saw Wind Pegasus. We saw the Magistus Link. We saw Titanic. So that's like a reason with like 10 cards that we can infer of the extra deck here. Probably Omega. Possibly. He's going to Entis and then Faker. Alright, so he's deciding between Faker and what's it called? Ecclesia. So opting for his Geist Engine. So let's see what Entis pops. This is not bad. What is Entis gonna pop? And what is Faker gonna summon from deck? Those are the next questions. Faker can summon Marionetter again, which can bring back the Meliseek to out a card. But that doesn't guarantee that he'll have Faker in hand for next turn because it can't link away under punishment. So... yeah, alright, yeah, he's using Entis effect. Yeah. Been a long game. Yeah, it happens. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, I mean, we all can lose track of these types of things. Like, I lost track of the Conquistador, or what I thought was Conquistador last game. I really don't know why I thought it was Conquistador. For some reason. Faker gonna go ahead and summon itself. This punishment should be engraved. This is a pet peeve of mine when cards are left on the field longer than they should be. But, not really a big deal. It's a small thing. Faker can go ahead and summon. Now this Bunny Blast is actually kind of annoying. Because, you have to, I guess, Meliseek send it if you want to make sure they don't have a Zoo. So maybe you do summon Marionetter. But again, the question is, like, do you have a way to access Faker? He's summoning Meliseek. Oh, but that's because he already has the Marionetter. Okay. Well, you know, now you can have your cake and eat it too. Not only does he get a trap here, not only does he get access to his Seek to be able to out the Bunny Blast, but he can trigger this Meliseek to search for another Faker. I think Geist takes this. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. Oh my god. Meliseek. Is that going to be Skullmeistered? Is that going to be Ashed? Surely you would have Ashed in a Deer... Oh wait, no. The Deer Servant was Undermine, I think? Yeah, it was. Oh, he targeted Meliseek and Meliseek. Oh, he's thinking on the Marionetter. Oh, okay. This could be Skullmeistered. Or Belled! Not Skullmeistered. Yeah, I meant Belled, yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so double Bell and Skullmeister. So this Meliseek should be on the field still, yes. In defense position though, because it was summon off Faker. Has to be in defense. Very important. Alright, okay. And technically it was in this zone. Okay. Oh. Okay, let's take a breather. Wow, alright, so never mind. Geist is not out of this yet, because how are you clearing? How are you clearing the Bunny Blast? Oh my god, Bunny Blast is the best zoo. Confirmed best zoo monster. But now, next turn, Eldritch has Golden Lord in graveyard to send away Tanky, and has two Eldritch cards in the graveyard as well. Gonna attack for 600. This doesn't matter because this is turn 1 of time. They're going 0, 1, 2, 3. So he will have the final battle phase, and that is important. So he's going to go ahead and attack into the Bunny Blast, and that's going to add back Therablade. Fair enough, you have to at least put them in a normal summon, that way it makes a top deck zoo much worse than if you just left it on the board. So this is okay. Definitely fine. And now the question is, what can you do to prevent Zeus? One of these cards in hand is Ecclesia. He's going to pass turn. Paulo draws to 2. Now, what can Paulo do on the follow-up here? So, he has Golden Lord, which can do 2300 over this Faker. Quite a lot of damage. He has a Zoo in hand, Therablade, and he has Golden Lands to be able to guarantee an interruption. Or rather, he has a Scarlet, which will get him Golden Land to get interruption. So, will he value maximizing damage? He has to do damage because they're in time. So, will we try and maximize damage at the possible expense of maybe some card economy, or try and maintain both at the same time? We'll see. Also depends on the card that he drew for turn. That could be game changing. You never know. You never know. Could be big. You also have to consider mounting a good enough defense to prevent Geist, because Geist can do a lot of damage. Provided, of course, the Hexias aren't all banished again, which is a distinct possibility. We are 58 minutes in, guys. Oh my gosh, this is absurd. Gonna go ahead and normal summon the Therablade. If there's another Faker and a Silk, that'd be wild. So he is going to go for Borbo. Borbo, another fantastic way to get in some damage in time. He's going to go battle phase without summoning Lord first. So he's putting his opponent on not being able to do more than, what is this, 1100 damage? Because he figures that he's going to be able to make a multi-mat Zeus, and then put Lord on the field afterward. Oh wait, no, but this will be sent in the graveyard, so he'd have to commit either his card in hand or the Scarlet. But he will be able to Zeus the board even through Protocol. But his board will be wiped at the same time. Going to use Zeus. That's going to be met with the Protocol. What will we send? If he sends a Meliseek, he won't be able to like add Faker and then special it, because that'll be a separate chain. Is he just flipping this, or is he going to activate the effect and send for cost? Sending Faker for cost. Going to chain the Zeus. Is there a response to this? There is none. So Zeus wipes the board, and then Protocol gets rid of Zeus. Melisy gonna search. And this search... Ooh, it's gonna be critical. Going to be very important. The search can be game deciding. Zeus lives. Because Protocol wasn't on the field, that's right. Yeah, Protocol, was not on the field. Good catch, very good catch. That's big, actually. That's another body. Right. I totally did not even think about that. But because Protocol is not in the field by the time it attempted to resolve, Zeus lives, and this Zeus should be in the middle. Oh boy. Crazy. Let's see. Oh my god, Watcher's chat is going off! Crazy. Okay, so Conquistador gonna be used next. I mean, do you just sit on this and then go for Conquistador Scarlet? Or do you try and summon your Lord? I don't know. It depends on what card is in his hand, too. That could change things. But we saw a not Melisy. We saw a Marionette search off of Melisy. So we know his hand is Ecclesia. Oh, but that's big too, because this turns back on the Ecclesia. If this died, then there wouldn't have been a great way to enable Ecclesia without like going Melisy to like send away for Linkuriboh. But this also provides another option. Okay. So end phase, Conquistador sets Scarlet. Yeah, this is in the middle, as it should be. Alright, good. I think they're reading the Watcher's chat, and they're probably like fixing stuff. Or maybe people are DMing him, who knows. Okay. Oh my god, Extravagance! Off the top of the deck. Oh my goodness. Wow. I hope plenty of you guys stayed till this 1 hour and 2 minute mark. Because, my god, this is definitely worth a watch. Oh, this is Monka S. Alright. I'm not going to read all that Watcher's chat. You guys can pause the video if you want to read it, but... Alright, he's going to start off with Ecclesia. I mean, your extra deck really doesn't matter when you have one card left. Does he play Fleur-de-Lis? We've seen some people cut Fleur-de-Lis. Does he play it? No. He's going to search Punishment, but this is the last turn of time. Oh. Marionette are going to go ahead and come down next. That's going to set a trap. I would imagine it's going to be Manifest. I'd be surprised if he was on 2 Protocol. He is only on 1, it looks like. Marionette are going to target itself and Melisy. Does this get conked? You have to imagine that, honestly, I think you save it and just wait until he enters the battle phase, right? Because it is the last battle phase. Provided that I am keeping track of turns correctly. Another ghost spell! That is a 3rd ghost spell in an entire match! Wow, that is crazy! What a fantastic top 8. Wow, okay. And with that, Zoodiac Eldlich Dogmatika moves on to the top 4. Wow, that is absurd. Good games to both players. Very well played. And that is a hype matchup. And we're going to probably move straight into top 4, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like if there's any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon or a TCG player. All the links in the description as always. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.